This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/reps and get on your way to being your best self. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. You're not dealing with waiting rooms, you're not sitting in traffic, and there's no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/reps. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/reps. This holiday season, we want to give a gift to our loved ones that makes them feel special and unique, just like the relationships that we share. That's why we're giving everyone that we care about Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones preserve precious memories and stories for years to come. And it is a thoughtful and meaningful gift that connects you to those who matter most. Every week, Storyworth emails your relative or friend a thought-provoking question of your choice from their vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you've never thought to ask, like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done in your life? Or, if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? After 1 year, Storyworth will compile all your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. With Storyworth, we are giving those we love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/reps and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/reps to save $10 on your first purchase. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Between the Reps with Brooke, Jeanna, and Devon. Dun, da, da, da. Hey,
Brooke, Jeanna, Devon.
Brooke, Jeanna, Devon. I mean, Devon, you can go second. It's totally fine. I don't mind bringing up the rear.
BD and J.
BD and J. Dude, it sounds like some really bad, like sexual act or something.
I feel like
Yeah.
if we wanted to make like oh my hell, my family, my brother's calling.
Oh, what's production, like theater?
Dance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were supposed to be going camping. They were supposed to leave today, and now my brother's not going.
I'll tell you what, kids like extra activities really screw up your schedule.
Really do. They don't screw up his schedule.
Well, I know that's true. He's got enough help.
Too much help.
Yeah.
I say that.
We won't get into
that. We won't get into it, but I will leave you with this because my brother doesn't listen to this podcast, but my sisters do, and they will think it's funny. You know, any of you out there that might be listening to what I have to say right now, maybe you're the problem or maybe you're the helper in this situation, or maybe you're the problem in this situation. Regardless, it's okay. But if you're the problem, try to be more aware to all the people around you that help you all the time. They take your kids, your sisters that watch your kids, your mom that takes them to all their extracurriculars. And then just remember to be like, man, I should probably thank them.
Yeah. I should thank them, or like maybe like not let them take over as much.
Yeah.
That's part of it too, because I can tell you this, I had a child young, I was 19, and, to make that decision to have my son, I obviously needed a lot of family help. And I was very lucky because there are so many people that do not have the help that I was given. So I'm very aware of that. But yeah, so like my mom was available to watch Jordan because she was a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. And she was available to watch Jordan every day while I worked. Thank God. And I remember there were certain times when I would want to go out or, do something because, you're still young and wanting to like have like a social life. And, which I didn't do often, but like, I would just be like, oh, can you watch him Friday? And I remember like the first time my mom said no. And I was like, oh, like I think she was like doing like line dancing with my dad or something. And I was like, at first, it was such a spoiled reaction of me being like, oh, what?
You're my mom all these years. And when I need you, where are you?
Yeah.
You're line dancing.
You're supposed to be at my beck and call, damn it.
that's how I am.
You have to check yourself a little bit.
When I call my parents, when I call my mom and she doesn't answer the phone, you could practically see fume, steam coming out of my ears. Like, what?
How dare she ignore my call?
Seriously? What are you doing?
It's like you're an adult or something. How dare she think that?
It's like you raised 4 kids and then helped raise all of their kids.
Yeah. And you're
still doing it.
Well, and if anyone, I mean, we've all spent time with Leslie. Her phone literally is ringing off the hook every 2 seconds with a kid or a grandkid or something. So
super grandma.
I know. Yeah.
It is.
But anyway, so it's funny how it gets easy to convince yourself. I mean, I was like in my early 20s when I realized I was being an asshole. But it's very easy to, when you're just being handed so much, to not be reminded that you just because you're being handed it doesn't mean you deserve it.
Yes.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Dev. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, I can relate to Jeanna because I had faith early, and thank God my mom was available, to help me with my kids. And I remember having that same moment, Jeanna, where I was like, can you watch her for whatever? And she was like, no, we have plans or we're going out of town. I was like,
yeah, no, it's horrible.
Aren't your grandchildren important to you?
Right. They're like, yeah, duh. I watch them every freaking day. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, I know. I remember this is another awful spoiled moment of mine. I always worked for family. So I had this like really, not an easy schedule. I worked 40 hours, but I could change my schedule around, and sometimes I'd bring Jordan to work with me, and I worked upstairs with my grandfather and my father. And, we had like a bassinet, or not a bassinet, like a playpen set up. So I could bring him sometimes. And I remember,
pause. You said bassinet, and you want to know what I heard?
What?
Bayonet.
I always let my toddlers play with bayonets.
You're like, up there with my dad and my grandpa. And I was like, oh, bayonet. Yeah.
Yeah. A bayonet. Sure. Yeah. They're from the Civil War.
Hey, watch out, Dad.
Civil War times. Sure.
Okay.
No, but, no. So, but it was funny because, Jordan's probably like a year old. So I'm probably like not even 20 years old, like maybe like 20. And, I'm living on my own, I'm paying all my bills. I'm not like living some lavish lifestyle or anything, but my parents were like helping me, so it's like they bought a place that I could rent from them for cheap, like I just was handed a lot of things. And which was wonderful. But yeah, I remember telling my dad, like, I wanted to borrow money for something. And I was like, yeah, I need to get, like Jordan's, I like some new jammies or something. He's like, well, then you need to budget your money. And again, I was like, oh, you want your grandson
to sleep without anything warm? You want him to freeze?
Yeah. And he didn't need new jammies. I just wanted to buy him new stuff. So it was like a lot of that. And I think a lot of that was my parents, like they made us work. Like I had a job since I was like 16, but my dad was really good at cleaning up our messes. Like you get into a fender bender, dad pays for it. You're in trouble, but like he pays for it. And like, they just always took care of everything. And, life was pretty easy. So it was like that initial, I'm still not like a grown up. I'm 20 years old with a baby and still have this like, I got pregnant. Parents are taking care of my kid, Oops. Oh, I need a place to live. Bought me a place. I mean, this is all the things I deserve in life. Yeah, no, not at all. But it wasn't until they started to cut me off like that. And they didn't cut me off, but it's so important to do that. And I say this, not because I've always done it, because I've definitely cleaned up my own kids' messes. But I see all these parents like complaining about how their kids, they don't have a sense of responsibility and they don't have this, they don't have that. And it's like, yeah, because you never made them.
Yeah. You made those
and I'll tell you what, it's hard to make them.
Yeah.
It's probably like one of the shittiest parts of parenting is having to discipline and take things away from your kid. It feels really, really bad.
Yeah. Because they're like, I hate you. And you're like,
yeah. How could you hate me? I do everything for you.
My mom used to always say, I brought you into this world. I could take you out. So when I'm the youngest of four, I had more than my siblings did, clear up till probably when my mom and dad had Lacey, their third. And even probably when I was a baby, my parents had nothing. My parents, they talk about it a lot, and I like hearing about it because, well, one, we're trying to go back to this, but it just makes me remember what's the most important, right? My parents ate out of the garden. My dad milked the cow every morning. Like, my mom baked bread. They never bought anything. Everything was hand-me-downs, clear to when I was little and growing up. I got what my sisters had. Everything was hand-me-downs. But as we got older and my parents, my dad ran a feed mill right out of high school. My grandpa, we talked about it the other day, we were driving to the ranch and he was talking about when he took over the feed mill. He graduated high school. And then my grandpa said, you're running the feed mill. I'm going out of town. And when he would go gold panning.
Oh my gosh.
And so my grandpa would be gone for like weeks at a time. And my dad literally, he was like, my grandpa believed that, when you learn something, you figured it out on your own. So my dad, right out of high school, running the full feed mill, when something breaks down, he has to figure out how to fix it. Like running this.
Every responsibility.
Yes. And he goes, can you see kids doing that these days? And I was like, no. Right out of high school? No way.
Yeah,
no way. He said my nephew, to be exact. And I was like, absolutely not. But he ran the feed mill and he worked crazy hours right out of high school. You're looking at over 60 hours a week. He was delivering feed. He's doing this, just a lot of stuff. He was a good, hardworking man, like your dad, Jeanna Marie.
Yeah.
And like your dad, Devon.
Yep.
Great dads.
Yeah. Great dads.
But we didn't really have a lot, but me being the youngest, as my parents had more from building business and doing whatever and saving, then they were able to do more, right? Or give more. So me being the youngest, I definitely experienced having more new things than any of my siblings did.
Totally.
But we all worked, Cody and Robin, I don't know what their first jobs were, but they worked cleanup crew for my dad's construction company. Lacey also, I think Lacey worked that one day. And then she was like, nope. So she worked in the office. When I was young, my first job, it was summertime. My dad had a broom, had a push broom and my bike. And he put it in the back of his truck and he dropped me off at job sites. And I had to sweep all the rocks and stuff off the sidewalks. And I did that a couple times. And then my mom actually got after my dad. She said, nope, you are not dropping your little blonde, cute little girl off at a construction site and then having her ride her bike home.
And just leaving you there.
So he would drop me off.
Yeah.
They're building houses. Dad's gone. I'm sweeping. And then I would get my broom and I'd get on my bike and ride my bike home. So that didn't last very long.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/reps and get on your way to being your best self. Unfortunately, life does not come with a user manual. Wouldn't it be so much easier if it did? So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck or like something's wrong with you. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or even becoming a parent, or in my case, a grandparent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. I personally love the fact that it's online therapy and I don't have to go to a waiting room. I don't have to sit in traffic. I can do it in the convenience of my own home in the time frame that I want to do it. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online, Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. You're not dealing with waiting rooms, you're not sitting in traffic, and there's no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/reps. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/reps.
When I went away to college, I had worked through high school and stuff, and I worked for my sister at my dad's company. I'd go to work, I'd go to school all day, and then I'd go to Ends Homes and I'd work, and then I'd go to dance till like 10 p.m. every day. I saved a good amount of money. And then when I went to college, I didn't ever want to ask for help. And I remember how we had it set up. My mom and dad had bought a condo in Salt Lake. I lived there. I had a roommate and she paid rent.
See, also totally spoiled.
Yep. Well, to be exact, I was going to the university. I got in it. I accepted it too late to get into the dorms. They filled up super fast. My mom,
I just mean the fact that you were able, your parents are able. There's so many people that would never even be like an option.
Well, it's had nothing, worked hard. And my mom was absolutely terrified for me to move away and live by myself. So when I was still in high school. So when her and her best friend went up north and tried to go and find places for me to live. So like they went and like check all these places out. My mom, I guess, some of the places were for her, terrified her. Cause then it's like thinking of me getting home by myself or whatever. Right. So my mom they ended up buying a condo. They've sold it. So it was an investment. But my allowance, my parents would help me with some money, was just what my roommate paid. And the whole first year of school, my parents they wanted me to I went right into, I was a modern dance major. So I went right into like a full schedule of classes. And they said, we just wanted me to just focus on school. They didn't want me to try and worry about anything else. So the first year I went to school, I didn't work. Well, here's where the problem lies. Not a problem because I figured it out on my own. When I would, you live on your own. So you spend money, you're learning how to manage your money for the first time. Out of me and all my siblings, Lacey she's like known as being like the best at money management and really being very frugal. I would run out of my money or whatever. And I never wanted to tell my parents or ask for more. So I would dip into my savings. Well, I did that so many times after being in school for a while, I like ran out of money and I did not want to tell my parents. So I didn't. My sister, Robin, she went and she put money into my bank account and helped me. And then I was working, I was waitressing at a pizza place. And then I was eating at my friend Chris's house. So I would not spend any money. She put some money in there for basics. I was working and then to try and create some sort of a buffer because I had completely thrown it. I spent everything I had. I didn't eat. I worked at my buddy's house and then worked at the pizza place. And that's what I did for a while until I slowly collected money. And then I moved to California. I had maybe like $5,000 to my name when I moved there. And my first job in Santa Cruz was I was washing salon towels at a salon. And I don't remember it vividly, but my nephew was in the car and my mom remembers it. I remember me calling her like the first time I had $10,000. Mm-hmm. Like I had saved.
Feels like a dude,
I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, you'll never believe it.
Washed a whole hell of a lot of towels.
I washed so many towels and then I quit and now I'm a barista.
Dude. Kylie was my best saver. She's still
I can see that saver. For sure.
That girl, her account is still linked to my banking for some reason. And she's also extremely, she is on it with her bank account. And I remember one time it was when I was doing the house and I was transferring money and I accidentally transferred out of her savings into something to like pay a contractor or whatever. And it was like, ding, mom, why did you just take like $5,000 out of my account? So of course I put it right back in, but it's just so funny because it's like, I just watch her account and it's like, ding, 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 ding. And mine's going ding, 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 ding.
You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm like, pretty soon Kylie's gonna have more money than I do. What the hell? Yeah. She's just really good at it.
Money.
I know. You know what I was tripping out on today is like,
Taxes?
we were talking, well, yeah, there's that too. Yep. But yeah, it's so funny. Like today's youth, more people are like in their like 30s before they're having kids and getting married and all of that. And Daniel, our friend Daniel today, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be 35 in March. And I was like thinking like, like certain, like when people say certain ages, it's like, I forget how young I was doing the things that I felt so old. Like I was like, so like old enough to do. Like at 35, I had 3 15-year-olds and a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, who the hell would have given me those kids to raise? Like what? I mean, I was also a very different person at 35 than a lot of people that I know in their 30s. Like you've just been raising kids and at home for 15 years. So you felt a lot older than you were. And I think that's more what it is. Like, and now I look at 30-year-olds, like even my kids, and I'm like, gosh, you're still so young.
Yeah.
I felt like a grandma already. It's crazy.
Well, you're going to be one.
I know. Speaking of, someone wrote in with a grandma name.
Oh,
if I can find it, I always say these things and I'm like, where did it go? Okay. Here it is. Okay. Natalie, this is from Natalie Allen, Nat. She goes, grandma names, Nina. Hey, Gigi is great. My mother goes by Nina. Her name is Geneva. Personally, I thought Neva would be better, but she picked it. And her mom was Gigi to her great grands. I called both of my grandmas grandma. Love you guys, Nat. So it's funny because I was thinking Gigi sounds like great grandma.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like it. But I wouldn't go as Nina. That's my grandmother's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I think I've talked about it before. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have some of like the absolute worst names in my family. It's like some really bad ones. And these aren't, my grandma's and her twin is not, but I just thought it was funny because it was Nina and Nina, twins. But they had like, we were going back in the family tree, like kind of like look like when we were looking at like baby names and stuff. And there are some really bad ones, like Raspberry. Raspberry is like a name that was like handed down over generations. Like I was looking through our family tree, Raspberry.
Raspberry.
But I think so it's funny. So we were always told like the Scarboroughs, which is my maiden name, are from Wales originally. And supposedly when England invaded Wales, our ancestors came to the Americas or something. So supposedly we were royalty, right? Well, I don't know where we turned in from like royalty to just trash.
Raspberry.
Yeah. There's like a lot of Michaels. There's like, so it starts out and then it starts moving. And okay, I don't want to upset my Southern people out there, but that starts moving like down into like the Southern region of the country.
Mississippi.
Yeah. Mississippi. Well, it was even before that, like Virginia or something like that. And I've got this one ancestor that was I would assume he was like, what do you call those preachers that have like those communities? Like they're just all crazy, like probably have like snakes.
Oh, what kind of churches are those?
I don't know. Like, anyway. Evangelical, maybe.
I think so.
But he was a pastor. His name was Joab. And he ended up having like 3 wives or something. So definitely not, probably like a cult leader is what I'm thinking. Sounds a little like a cult leader.
A little bit.
No.
Yeah.
Or, it could be a cult leader, or it could be, I feel like back in those times, it was just way more common for one man to have multiple wives, especially depending on like availability of men and like during war times, and then obviously religious type stuff too.
I don't know. I think he was just a slut.
He was, he liked options.
Yeah.
He was indecisive.
Yeah. That sounds like crap to me. No, but interestingly enough, when my grandparents sold their house, they had this like storage shed, and my grandma was like really good at just throwing everything away. And so I was like, Grandma, why are you throwing all this stuff away? It's like super old stuff. So I had saved a couple of things that I thought were kind of cool. And there was this one like case that was like a leather case, and you opened it up and it had Joab written on the inside of it. So it was this Joab guy's thing. And I always thought it was a mirror. And it was like probably years. And a friend came over and she says, Jeanna, look at it again. It's an old photograph. And it's because they used to have metal on the back of the photograph. Mm-hmm. And it was this creepy ass dude.
Also, I think his name may have been Job.
No, it was Joab. Job is J-O-B.
That's Job.
No,
I think Job in the Bible is J-O-A-B.
No, it's Job. No, believe me, I grew up with that stuff. I had to I didn't memorize all the books and all that. I guarantee you it's J-O-B.
Okay. Hey, keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. She's going to go get a Bible.
Yeah. She's like, I need to cross-reference this right now.
I mean, I was raised with that from birth till like 20s.
I don't think I'd question you on those.
Yeah. Thank you.
This holiday season, we want to give a gift to our loved ones that makes them feel special and unique, just like the relationships that we share. That's why we're giving everyone that we care about Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones preserve precious memories and stories for years to come. And it is a thoughtful and meaningful gift that connects you to those who matter most. Every week, Storyworth emails your relative or friend a thought-provoking question of your choice from their vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you've never thought to ask, like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done in your life? Or if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? After 1 year, Storyworth will compile all your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. I love the idea of this book because I can read it to my children, to my grandchildren, about things that their grandmother has said or their great-grandmother. Reading the weekly stories helps connect you with loved ones, no matter how near or far apart you are. With Storyworth, we are giving those we love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/reps and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/reps to save $10 on your first purchase.
That's so cool that you went back and looked through your family tree like that. Have you done the,
I haven't
ancestry deals?
Well, yeah, I've done not Ancestry, but like 23andMe. And I think we've talked about that on here before. I just found out that I'm extremely just nothing cool. Like I'm just English Irish. Yeah. Like it started out that I was more things, and then it's more people have gotten things done. I've just really narrowed it down. So, but that's not where we got the tree from. We got that. My aunt did like a bunch of research and like went through my great grandma's stuff. And my great grandma had a bunch of stuff written out.
Oh,
really? So it's just kind of been handed down through the years. Yeah.
That's really cool. I wonder if anybody in my family's ever done anything like that. I'm going to have to.
You should find out.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, because I don't think we would have known unless my grandma Ada, my Aunt Karen, had asked my grandma Ada.
You have an Aunt Karen? So do I.
I do have an Aunt Karen. She's married to my Uncle Mike.
Mine's married to Devon.
Oh, okay.
Like Devon, but not Devon. Might be spelled the same, actually. Devon.
Oh my God, it probably is. Isn't it funny when people are like, you're like, oh, are you Andrea? I'm Andrea.
Yeah, you're like, ooh,
fine.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's like did I tell the story about the cousin's kid who was going to name Colin?
Oh, yes.
And I know it's like Colin Powell. I get that. But it's like, come on. Like, don't name your kid Colon. And my mom's trying to argue it. She's like, well, it's not spelled Colon. And I go, Mom, it doesn't matter. You're still pronouncing it that way.
Yeah.
And I go,
colon.
yeah. Like,
Colon.
I'm going to name my kid Anus and call it anus. Like, I don't know. like, no, it's still anus. Come on. Give the kid a chance. It's so stupid. Oh my God. All right.
Do we have any other emails that you wanted to read?
Okay. Yes, we have. We had an interesting email from Kim Malls. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And she says, greetings. First, the genuine friendship between the two of you is a gift. We know, we appreciate it. Your candid nature and honest reflections is refreshing. Thank you. Keep sharing, Jeanna. You and I are the same age, and I'm so on board with a lot of your thinking. Well, us oldies, we like to think alike. One thing to clarify is Brooke's use of the phrase committed suicide. I used to use that term too, because I didn't know any different. Then my mother died by suicide, July 19th, 2021. Through gaining knowledge from various people in person and websites, I learned when using the phrase committed suicide, it sets a tone that the person did something criminal. People who die by suicide are in such internal turmoil and pain that the only way they see it going away is die. Their sense of hope for a better tomorrow is gone. People who die by suicide didn't commit a crime. Oh, so it's the committed part that she's talking about. My mother left a wake of broken glass. The pain she could no longer endure has been transcended to us and it blows. But my mom did not commit a crime. She just couldn't hold on anymore. And I pray and hope she's at peace and on the other side of the stars, along with all those who find being here too painful. Thanks for listening to a different perspective. Wishing you both joy, happiness, and peace in your heart. Kim Malls. I don't know if she wants me to say where she's from.
Well, I appreciate you emailing in, Kim, because to be completely honest, I think I feel like most people that are listening to the podcast that don't have a personal experience with that wouldn't know how to phrase it either.
Yeah.
And I 100% can see exactly what you're saying. And I don't think of it in a way of committing something wrong.
No, of course not. But I've never thought of it that way either.
Yeah. I've never. So even when I was, talking about it, it's like, well, because they're so high profile, a lot of anyone who knows the Judds knows what happened. I didn't know. I mean, obviously you guys listen to the podcast. So I think you can tell even then I said it and I was like, oh, I don't know if that's what I should say. She passed away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you for, I guess, sharing that with us, because Jeanna has experience with people that are going through a lot of hard times like that. I have experience with people that have not taken it to that limit, but also deal with that some internal demons and personal things that are very difficult. They're difficult to deal with, to handle, to figure out. So I can definitely understand that. And thank you for emailing us and being really so kind, because obviously, wasn't said out of
it doesn't seem like she seemed triggered or upset
So
right.
we appreciate you sharing, teaching us. That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And for our listeners, if there's people out there that have been using that term to know now that maybe that's not the best term to use, because I would have never thought of it either. Because even as I was reading the beginning of this, I was like, oh, I'm not really sure but yeah, when you get down to it, that makes sense why somebody would feel that way. Yeah.
And also just another note, I guess, on the topic. Normally that was kind of like discussing that person. It's a different scenario, just because she is somebody who is very well known and has left an incredible mark on this world. And her story it's so big that most people, if not everybody that loves the Judds, they know what happened. It's not something that isn't been talked about. But at least I am on a page where if I was going to discuss that way of leaving, whether it's with a friend or someone personal, I would probably just leave that out in general, because it's private. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I probably should have just left it out. I didn't know what to do. You guys know how I get on here sometimes. I'm like, what am I talking about? Oh my God.
No, but
I don't really know.
I think even further than that, I think that's just a very common way to phrase it. I don't think that that's like, as we grow and as we are exposed to different situations, unless you've been in that situation, it's hard. How would you know? I had no idea. I mean, I've dealt with this personally with very close family members, and that it would never have crossed my mind that would be triggering for somebody or hurt somebody.
Yeah.
But the fact that it does, and that it's, is always good to know. I mean,
Well, yeah. Cause
you've grown up saying all sorts of things that didn't ever seem, hurtful until you realize like, oh wait, no, that's hurtful. Like, we probably shouldn't rephrase that. Yeah.
Well, and, words that have meaning that, like, even just that phrase, it's like, oh, that's just what the phrase has always been.
Yeah.
But I completely understand. I completely agree that first word in that phrase is a little bit, it shouldn't live there so easly.
Yeah.
Because it's not the case. So thank you for emailing.
Thank you, Kim. We appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta go.
I know. I gotta go too. Where are you off?
Devin, do you have to go?
Hey, no. Devin. Devin's like, I have nowhere to go. It's like, I got nowhere to go.
I got nowhere to go. No, I have some work to finish up. I'm still trying to get our website for the merchandise up and running. The transaction part has been giving me a hard time, but I have everything designed.
Hey, Devin is on it, guys.
Yep.
Devin is on it.
I mean, we've only been saying it for 2 years.
I feel like it's been 3 years.
It has. And I want a t-shirt.
3 years. We're talking about merch.
I want a t-shirt that's kind of the style of like Saved by the Bell, a sweatshirt. And it's going to be cartoon sort of Saved by the Bell, but it's going to be a sandwich. It'll be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but it will be the three of us laying in the middle of the bread. Yeah. BD and J. It's like a PB and J, but it's not a PB and J.
Oh yeah, it's like when we said we were going to do it. Yeah. Remember that it was going to be Dana. It was going to be a DB and J.
Yeah.
It's instead of a DBJ, we've gone to a BDJ. That's right. God, they all just sound dirty.
BD?
Yeah, they all sound dirty.
BDJ?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to
rate, review,
subscribe. Oh, I'm here with you.
I know.
It's hard to do together because it's like the sound is off.
Yeah.
Each person says one word.
Okay, so I'm going to start it.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to
rate.
Oh my God. We need some communication here.
Hey, I'll go, then Devin goes, then Jeanna goes.
Okay, go.
Do it again, Jeanna.
Oh, okay, I'm going. All right. So don't forget to
rate,
review,
subscribe. I thought you were going to say it, Jeanna Marie.
I just thought we were each doing a phrase. Okay. You guys know the drill. We're not going to say it again. Just thanks for listening.
Yeah. 5 stars.
Yeah. Warning ratings, all of them.
Yes. We'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you, but you'll see us.
Yes. Unfortunately. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. All right. Bye.
Bye.